For millennia, the world knew of a great and powerful civilization called Persia. But if you look at a map today, that name is gone. So, what's the real story here? How did this ancient, famous name turn into Iran? Well, that's what we're going to unpack.
And it's a fantastic question, right? For literally thousands of years, everyone from Greek historians to European kings talked about Persia. Then, pretty suddenly, in the 20th century, it seems to just vanish. But here's the thing. The story isn't about something disappearing. It's actually a story about reclaiming something. Okay, so the big moment happens in 1935. The government, under Reza Shah, sends out an official memo to the rest of the world. And they weren't just inventing a new name out of thin air. They were telling the world, hey, call us by the name we've been using for centuries. See, Iran means land of the Aryans. And for them, it was a way of asserting their own history and identity on the world stage. All right, so before we can really get why the name Iran was such a big deal, we have to go back, way back. We need to understand the epic legacy behind the name the whole world already knew, Persia. And that story starts with some of the biggest empires the world has ever seen. I mean, just look at this timeline. It's staggering. We're kicking things off in 550 BCE with Cyrus the Great, who created an empire that was the largest the world had ever seen. And even after Alexander the Great rolls through, you get new, powerful empires like the Parthians and the Sasanians who keep the flame alive for centuries more. It just shows you, this wasn't just an empire, it was a foundational pillar of the ancient world. Here's a number for you, 5,610 meters. That's how tall Mount Damavand is, the highest peak in Iran. And it's a great metaphor, right? Empires come and go, rulers change, but the land itself, the mountains, the deserts, that's the constant, the silent witness to all this history. So, after centuries of these ancient empires, the next massive, game-changing shift comes along. And this time, it's about faith. A wave of conquests is about to completely redraw the cultural and religious map of the region, and it sets the stage for everything that comes next. Okay, fast forward to the 7th century. Arab armies sweep in, the Sasanian Empire falls, and Islam is introduced to the region. Now, you might think that's the end of Persian culture, but no way. What happened was incredible. The culture didn't get erased, it fused with these new influences. This fusion sparked the Islamic Golden Age, a period of breathtaking innovation in science, poetry, and philosophy. But then, in 1501, we get a moment that is absolutely crucial for understanding modern Iran. The Safavid dynasty comes to power, and they make a decision that will define the country forever. They declare Shia Islam the state religion. This wasn't just a religious choice, it was a political move to create a uniquely Iranian identity after being ruled by others for so long. Just picture the map at the time. The Safavids were basically in a tough spot. To their west was the gigantic Sunni Ottoman Empire. To their east, the powerful Sunni Mughal Empire. By making themselves the center of Shia Islam, they basically drew a line in the sand. It carved out a special place for them in the world, but it also locked them into centuries of conflict with their neighbors. All right, so after the Safavids, the Qajar dynasty steps in. And, well, let's just say their time in charge is not exactly remembered as a golden age. In fact, it's mostly seen as a period of serious decline and mismanagement, which left the door wide open for outside powers to start meddling. And then, this happens. 1908, a single discovery that changes everything: oil. All of a sudden, Iran isn't just some ancient land with a rich history. No, it's now sitting on top of the world's most valuable resource. And that put a massive target on its back, especially for powers like Britain and Russia, who desperately wanted to control that oil. This discovery pretty much lit the fuse for the century of conflict to come. And that discovery of oil leads us right into our next chapter, the final royal dynasty of Iran, the Pahlavis. This is where things get really intense. It's an era of incredibly fast, often forced modernization that ends up creating these deep, deep fault lines in society. Fault lines that would eventually lead to a revolution that shook the entire world. I mean, talk about a roller coaster. Just look at this timeline. In 1925, an army officer named Reza Khan takes power and crowns himself Shah. 10 years later, he's the one who officially asks the world to use the name Iran. He gets forced out during World War II, his son takes over, then there's a CIA-backed coup in '53, and it all comes crashing down with the Islamic Revolution in '79. It's an unbelievable amount of change and chaos crammed into just a few decades. Okay, we have to talk about the 1953 coup because it is the pivotal moment. You have this popular, democratically elected prime minister, Mohammad Mossadegh, who decides to nationalize Iran's oil. Basically, he wanted Iran's oil to benefit Iranians, not the British. Well, Britain and the US were not having it. They backed a secret coup, got rid of him, and put the Shah back on the throne. And just like that, Iran's brief experiment with democracy was over. So, with the CIA's help, the Shah is back in charge, and he launches this so-called White Revolution, a crash course in modernization. Think industrialization, secularism, close ties with America. But on the other side, you have this incredibly powerful voice of opposition, Ayatollah Khomeini. He called all this change Westoxification, a betrayal of the country's Islamic soul. You literally have two completely different futures for the country on a collision course.
And when two forces like that collide, something has to break. And it did. That collision leads us straight to the 1979 revolution. The monarchy, an institution that had lasted for thousands of years, is just gone. And in its place, a totally new kind of state is about to be built.
This is the image that defines the whole event. The Shah is out, he flees the country, and Ayatollah Khomeini, who'd been in exile for decades, flies back to a hero's welcome. His return isn't just the end of the revolution, it's the start of something totally new. A new era that would not only reshape Iran, but the entire Middle East.
So what kind of government did they build out of the revolution's ashes? Well, it was something the world hadn't really seen before, a theocratic republic. On one hand, it has things that look familiar, like an elected president and a parliament. But here's the twist. The person with the final say on everything isn't elected. It's a religious figure, the supreme leader. Yeah, this power structure is really one of a kind. You have the supreme leader right at the top, holding the keys to the military, the courts, you name it. Below him, you have these elected officials, like the president and the parliament, who handle the day-to-day business of government. It's this really fascinating and complicated mix of democratic ideas and religious authority, all in one system. So here we are, from the massive Achaemenid Empire to the Safavid Shahs who created a unique Shiite identity, to the Pahlavi dynasty that officially brought back the name Iran, all the way to today's Islamic Republic. If there's one thing this whole story shows us, it's that this is a nation that has never stopped reinventing itself. And that, of course, leaves us with the biggest question of all. What does the next chapter of this incredible story look like?